right, here's a question for you. And Dr. J, I know you're a man of Dr. J in for Richard Roper today. Spends a lot of time on the CNBC. I know you talk mostly about business there, but there's some politics come up. And sure. I know you're not a gigantic fan of the current administration. It's been pretty clear that you're not. But when it comes to foreign policy, I think there were a lot of people who there were a lot of business guys worried about economic policy over the years. But now foreign policy seems to have really fallen apart in a lot of pretty significant ways. And now you have this very strange move of trading the one prisoner of the Taliban. We think of the Taliban because what is the Taliban? Taliban can be a bunch of different sort of subsets of people that can all fly the flag, but there's not one unifying voice there that's running the deal. There's a bunch of guys, and this one group had Bo Bergdahl, the U.S. Army sergeant, who was promoted, by the way, while he was in captivity. Strangely enough,
but I guess on the other hand,
it's
not that strange in terms of a prisoner of war getting that, but getting both back pay, because if indeed you're a prisoner of war and you went in as a military person, not AWOL, but you went in as a military.
Right.
You should get paid, right?
Oh, for sure.
And then you get the days that you served towards whatever, not degree, but rank.
Right.
You would think.
But there's also a lot of questions about how he ended up there.
Exactly. Was he AWOL?
And so then we hand these 5 guys back who were leaders, maybe not as senior as some people are saying, but leaders nonetheless of their disparate Taliban clans. Hand them back over there. And before we let them go, should we have chipped them? That is a big debate that is being held. Do you put tracking devices on them just to sort of see where they go? Like you would do a whale or a dolphin in the ocean, right?
Yes.
Where's he going? I want to know where he's going. And if so, what are the bioethics of this? Arthur Caplan is the director of medical ethics at NYU. And thank you very much for being with us. First of all,
thanks so much for having me.
What is the technology here for doing this?
It's pretty simple stuff. A lot of the listeners will know that we have crude versions of this for pets. A lot of folks get their pets chipped in case they lose them. Easy to locate. It's somewhat similar to the technology you have in a car, so that if it gets stolen, they can track it down.
But that's a little different in the sense that when the pet goes loose, you don't know where it is unless it shows up at a vet's office or somebody who's got one of these sensors. And that's an ID chip that lets you know who owns that pet.
Right. Although there are tracking chips, and in fact, there are some new ones that we're using in elderly residents of nursing homes who are demented. If they often wander, and so you want to know where they are. So you have a kind of GPS technology like in your phone, and you can get it into a chip, just like the mapping programs. They ask you for your current location. Same idea. And
would you have to have how big is that item? Could you put it in without anybody else knowing?
You could. You could put it in. You could knock somebody out and implant it into them surgically in lots of places. And the other thing you'd want to do is put it somewhere where it would survive, a long time. So it has to have a little battery source that's going to be there. You're not plugging it in and plugging it in. But and let me add before you start getting the phone calls, I don't know that anybody has done this anywhere, but I can tell you this, the technology to do it is here.
Yeah, the technology would sound like it is here, Doctor. But again, to your point, if it's not a battery-driven basically a little beacon, not dissimilar in some ways perhaps to the black box that they look for when a plane goes down, obviously much smaller and biometric, as you said, implantable. If it's not that, then the scanner needs to be in the room with the person or very close to the person to be able to track if it's not sending a signal out constantly.
Right. So there are other ways to get it to turn on and off, and believe it or not, there are even some ways you might get to power it by chemicals within the body. So without getting into and again, I'm not trying to sell the technology, I'm just saying it's getting there, it's getting pretty close. So it may be that it was used on these guys. It will be that it could be used on guys like that soon.
So, and how long does the battery last for?
So if you have one of these little biological batteries or a little silicon device, the thing doesn't need a ton of juice because you don't have to get it all the way up to a satellite. You might get it up to a drone. You'd probably get a year or two out of it.
And does the body feed the battery in any way?
There are technologies that do that because you've got electricity running around in your body. You probably could make that work too.
So if you see the guy starting to sort of twitch and act strange, you're saying, Omar,
say, there.
You don't look like yourself.
Like Jaime from Get Smart. You just start to smoke out of your chest.
Exactly.
What? All right, okay. Ethically, though. Now, as a doctor, you would have to implant this thing.
Right.
What are the medical ethics behind that?
So again, trust me, if not done in this instance, coming soon. And I can think of a couple of interesting, challenging ethical problems. One is you have to put it in when the person is unconscious, and you have to put it in, and they can't consent to it. They can't be aware. So you're going to do an operation on somebody that, they're not giving permission to. It's sort of surreptitious surveillance. Secondly, you're doing it for no medical purpose. You're doing medical things for national security. That might be okay, but, we don't like it when doctors get involved with waterboarding or extracting information from prisoners of war. Their ethical codes say don't do it. You could have something, we were joking about it, in terms of smoking coming out of you, but you never know. Things could move around in the body. They could pose problems later. Now remember, all of this is done on bad guys. All of this is done on people we think of as enemies of the state. But again, just like our ankle bracelets, you can imagine technologies coming that are much smaller than that to keep an eye on people on parole. People are supposed to be in rehab programs, that sort of stuff. So I think the technology, whatever your answer is about Taliban, you want to start thinking, hey, where would this go down the road if it was me or my son?
Yeah. Do you have a sense how wide in usage this kind of technology is?
Very wide, because it is the technology that's GPS. It's basically Google saying we can MapQuest you home or Google Map you out of almost anywhere. Again, the problem right now is power. It isn't the technology. It's getting something that could.
Do you think it's being widely used with people who do not know it?
Oh, no. I don't think it is widely used yet. I really don't, and I don't have any basis to know what the CIA or any other spy agency anywhere in the world is doing, but I have no reason to think it's being widely used in civilians. I know sadly, there are people who think it's already been used in them. I occasionally get the email from someone who says there's something in my head. I don't believe that, but I do really believe that it's coming. And when I saw these guys going back supposedly to be kept in Qatar, a pretty localized place where you could fly a drone over once in a while to see what they are, or if they know where their original villages are, possible.
Interesting.
Very interesting. All right, Doctor, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Arthur Caplan, Director of Medical Ethics at NYU Langone Medical Center.
Named after Ken Langone, co-founder of Home Depot.
Thank you. I'm going there after work tonight.
Are you?
Yes, I am.
Are they going to implant anything?
I'm looking for implantable chips into my brain. What the hell goes on here, Dr. J?